Well, it's been a while since I've done a video directed towards a discussion about the exam, the CFAI exams for level 1, 2, and 3. They, as you know, they're not going to happen in June. They're being delayed to December or the next scheduled writing of that date. The dates are going to be announced on or before May 8th. So from where we sit right now, it's within 2 weeks. You're going to know what the options are for you, and then you get to decide. And I think they're going to leave that decision period open for a while. I don't know how long you'll have to decide, but I don't think it's going to be like you got to decide today or by the end of the week. I think you'll have 2 or 3 months in there to make your decision. I anticipate that the date they'll announce in December will pretty much be where the current date is for the scheduled December exam, which is the first Saturday in December, December 5th. They've already got all of these rooms booked everywhere. So if they can expand those rooms, great. If not, it makes sense to book it the very next day after, as opposed to cascading weekends in December, trying to get other weekends in December and getting everybody there and back again while they have that critical mass at that time. I would plan for it being that particular weekend, and you'll have a choice between that and the next scheduled exam date. So for level 1, your dates are going to be December. If you were deferred from June, you write at the December sitting or the February-March window. And I'll talk about what we mean by the window shortly. For level 2 and 3, you'll write in December or June, which is the next scheduled date. This is June 2021, by the way. So you'll write in December 2020 or June 2021. And we're April 25th now, so let's say that's starting tomorrow, April 26th, to the day before the December exam. There's 32 weeks to go. Kind of hard to sit here and crack the whip on time, because with 32 weeks, that's plenty of time. And many of you, for who we're going to write for June, we're anywhere from 40 to 50% of the way through the content to pretty much all the way done. So 32 weeks is excessive at this point. So if you've seen my other videos about using a tapering strategy, where you would start planning for the next level now, write your exam in December, and then continue on so that you can, next June, you'd be right where you would be had you not missed this exam, so that we don't lose any time. You have that strategy. And since the content is not changing year over year, the 2021 content is effectively available right now, because it's the same thing as the 2020 content. So it is available now. Typically, we have to wait till late July, early August until we can release the next year's content, but it's not changing. So we got it. So there's lots of time here. For level 1 for 2021, here are the changes. There are 4 exams in 2021, and they'll be given in windows. There won't be just one day where you sit. It'll be a window of time, and then you choose your date within that window. I don't know if you get to choose the date, or based on where you are and the region you're in, if you're assigned one of the dates within that window. It's computer-based testing, so it's done right on a computer in front of you. I would seem to think that would speed up the time from when you finish to the time you get the results. It would seem to me that should shorten that window of time at least by half. I get that you have to look at all these things. You have to run an analysis on them to determine if there were any leaks in the system. Then you have to verify. You need your audit trail. It's not like you get your result in 3 seconds. I get that there's a lot to do, but that window should drop from the middle of the 8th week after to maybe the middle of the 4th or 5th week. I mean, that's just me. There could be a whole bunch of reasons why that's not true. And the exam is going to be shorter, 180 questions. However, that does not mean it's going to be easier. There's lots of, especially when you move to things like classical test theory to item response theory. Classical test theory means everybody gets the same test. Well, then you need a lot of item sets to find the separation in the population. But with computer-based testing, especially item response, as opposed to classical test theory, everybody gets different tests, and the questions you get are based on the order in which you answer. If you get the first 3 or 4 right, they tend to get harder. If you get the first 3 or 4 wrong, they tend to get easier. And it doesn't take that many questions to find what your score is. So you can make them shorter. That doesn't mean it's easier. I would not defer to February on the thinking or on the strategic thinking that 180 questions better than 240. It's going to be easier. It gives me more time to study. The pass rates will be higher. I'll have a better opportunity there. I don't think the pass rates are going to change at all. And I don't think it's going to be easier. I think it's going to basically be comparable. So, if you have a calendar reason why you can't write in December, fine. But there is no time reason. There is no constraint on that. The only constraint there could be is that I simply can't write that weekend, period, end of story. Well, then, yeah, you can write in February or June. I strongly recommend that you hit that December exam. You have more than enough time to prepare for it. Level 2 and 3, nothing has changed here. One seating, that's going to be in June. It's the first Saturday in June. I don't anticipate that that's going to change. Next year will happen as if it were normally planned to happen. It'll be the first Saturday in June. Registration for 2021 will be open as it normally would have opened this year. So what you can do is you could take the date when the exam was supposed to happen, and you can count out 7 weeks, and then midway through the 8th week, usually the Wednesday is when they open registration. That would have been July 30th. I anticipate that it'll probably still be July 30th, where registration for level 2 and level 3 for 2021 will be open. So if you're not scheduled to write this December, or if you're not deferred and you'll only be writing next June, if you're brand new to level 2 and 3, then your registration will be open sometime in end of July. However, like I said before, the content is out there now. It's going to be the 2020 content, just repeated. Nothing, no new changes for 2021 on that one. So there you go. Less than 2 weeks. I say less than 2 weeks. It was on or before May 8th. So it's, the worst case scenario, it's going to be May 8th, which is 2 Fridays from now. You'll find out what the possible dates are, and then you get to choose which seating you want. And again, I'm pretty sure they're going to give you time to make your decision. I strongly recommend the December one. Why? Why take more time if you don't need it? You were going to be ready for June anyways, right? And I strongly recommend using the tapering strategy so that by next June you're right where you would have been had nothing happened. That's about all I can think of saying on this one. So for the next 2 weeks, you get to think about what you want to do. Once you click which option you want, then guess what? It's real again. Once it's real again, then you got to look at the calendar. You got to look at where you are and what you have to do. Eye on the prize. Okay.